This fight, and it is a fight, is not about the power, nor is it about the Magpies. This is a fight for the future of Port Adelaide, ensuring that everything that we hold dear, that everything that we stand for as a club is enshrined in the future structure that we create for our future. The question we have to answer tonight is, are we prepared to fight this battle together as one club? Or will we continue to allow outside forces to again drive a wedge into the Port Adelaide community so that it divides against itself? Divide so that it's weakened to such an extent that we can't get on with the business of being Port Adelaide, which is about achieving success, unparalleled success, as we've done for our entire history. The reality is that the Port Adelaide Football Club has been compromised since 1997. No premierships for the Magpies since 1999. No finals appearance for the Magpies for 6 years. Before 2010, the proud Maggies were shuttled off down to Ethelton. To this day, the Magpies exist without having access to all of the facilities and all the resources and all the coaching expertise that we have at our disposal. And all through that period, since 2007, we know what the power's been doing. It's been caught up in a very mediocre place. That's not what this club is about. So what we need to do is we need to construct a future that enables us to do a few things. We need to be able to win AFL and SANFL premierships. We need to create a future where our kids can play for Port Adelaide. And we need to build a future where we are united as a club and all pulling in the one direction. I'm at the point of believing that without unity, I don't think we can succeed. And when I say succeed, I mean truly succeed at both the SANFL and the AFL level, unless we're all pulling in the one direction. It's too hard. The competition is simply too hard. And we haven't been doing a great job of it. That's our reality. So we've got to get on the same bus. So what I'm going to do now is to take you through the process that we've been going through to construct that future. It's important that you get the context of this discussion. Because we haven't been able to talk too much about it, a lot of you are feeling, I think, we haven't had the fight. We've had the fight. I know exactly where we sit. Tonight's about bringing you up to speed, talking about it, and then we've got to make a decision as to which way we want to go. So if you just take a look at the two screens, I'm going to flick through and give you some information. So it started actually, this conversation about the AFL reserves and the need for all that has been around a long time. Brenton Sanderson came in when he was appointed coach of the Crows, put it at the top of their agenda. It became important to the SANFL at that point. And so they engaged in a conversation with us about it as well. And we took to them our thoughts around what would serve the Port Adelaide Football Club best and be consistent with the theme that they were driving, which was about the integrity of the competition, which we believe in as a member of that competition. So we came to them with a proposal which involved both the AFL side and the Magpies. We believed that it was important that we maintain a structure that gave our juniors the opportunity to play as they've been playing. We said to them, we'll do that, but you can have your dividend back. Now that dividend is over $550,000 a year. So we were prepared to hand that back. We also said, we understand there are going to be less opportunities. If we combine that side at the league level with the AFL listed players, so every Port Adelaide player can be playing for Port Adelaide, there will be less opportunities for SANFL Magpie players to play. And so perhaps we should concede a little bit on the zone, which we did. We were also prepared to concede that we could do with less salary cap. So we were prepared to pull the salary cap right back. That was rejected. The SANFL executive and the commission said, we haven't been to the clubs, but we're telling you right now, that can't fly. So I went on the road and I went and saw, I didn't see Centrals because I don't think that's valuable, but I saw every other club and I tried to understand what was the objection. What is it that you want from Port Adelaide in this new setup? And it was absolutely clear through that discussion that the overwhelming feeling from them was, you got to decide whether you want to be an AFL club or an SANFL club. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I heard that many, many times. So we went back. We went back to the commission. There was a formal presentation made by the Crows and by Port Adelaide, and I ramped up the same plan. But what I focused on was integrity, commitment to football. All we're asking is, can we continue to invest in the fabric of the game? No, we're not the slightest bit interested in that. At the same time, the Crows put up their reserves proposition, which involves a random top-up system where players from the bottom of other SANFL clubs' lists will feed up and play for the Crows. That was ticked. So at that point, I understood clearly that it wasn't all about the integrity of the competition. All right, so there was something else at play. What they said to us was, you cannot have the power and the Magpies infrastructure. That's gone. What you can have is the power reserves, using the same model as the Crows have been offered. So what you would have heard then was John Olsen, the chairman of the SANFL, coming out and talking about the equality of the offer. And I'm telling you, there was no mention of that prior to the decision. That became part of the language. So you could have that, but the Magpies are gone. So in July, that's where we stood. So what we then said, and you'll recall this, was we will never adopt that Crows model. we will not have a situation where random players are representing the Port Adelaide Football Club from other clubs as a top-up. We will never have it. So we adopted the status quo position and we said, we haven't got the answer here. So we're just going to sit tight for 2014. So then what started to happen was we started to hear language that the licence may be revoked November 1. That was very, very cleverly done. It wasn't a threat, it was a legal fact. But suddenly it became part of the language. In the status quo scenario, that meant to me that in 2015, there'd be no Magpies. We would be offered the power reserves proposition, which was on the table, revoke the licence November 1, and roll to that. That would then give us two options. You either play the power reserves in the SANFL competition, and I was assuming at that point that we would be so pissed off that we'd never want to be playing in that SANFL competition, or go to the VFL, right? And so that's where we've been thinking up until most recently. We've been thinking, okay, well, the status quo position is not a sustainable position one way or another, if you believe that's possible. And I know that there are people in this room tonight who are saying, take them on. Take them to the line and make them kick us out, right? All I would say to that is I've been in front of every club, every commissioner, every executive, and I absolutely believe that they will kick us out. They haven't said it, but as the CEO, I'm saying to you, I believe they will. So that's an option that's still open to us, but we've got to think beyond today. And in 3 years' time, do we want to be travelling back and forth? Can we afford the extra $1 million it's going to be to play in the VFL? The Magpies are gone. To be perfectly honest, that is a risk that I don't want to take, and I don't believe we have to take it. But that's where we've been. So what are we looking at? We came up with an alternative look at what Port Adelaide may actually be going forward. And that's what I want to talk to you tonight about. So in the new setup, the proposed setup, you'd have the power. You'd have the Magpies in the prison bar in the SANFL. You would have an elite Magpies Academy, 18 to 22-year-olds, in the SANFL Reserves competition. The Magpies, no age restriction. That is a development today. This is how fluid it is. I went in this morning and negotiated the cap. There was a cap that had been applied to that Magpie side of 23 years. And I said to them, here's the dilemma you're putting us in, right? We're going to create a Magpies Academy, 18 to 22-year-olds. We want kids to come into our system. And you're going to tell them that they've got to leave when they turn 23. How does that work? We're not going to be able to drag people into our system, as good as the system is, if they have to leave. That's been agreed. So we now have the power. If the power players are not playing for the AFL side, they will be joining our Magpie senior listed players. There are no age constraints on that, which means if you want to play 100 games or 200 games and you're good enough, you'll be able to do it for the Magpies going forward. It's a very big win. And you'll have the elite kids coming through. In 2014, all of our junior structures and our zones remain, but from 2015, they would be relinquished. Now, that has been the sticking point all the way through. So here's the point. That is not a winnable fight. In the end, when it all boiled down, that's the point. That is the non-negotiable from the SANFL point of view. So that took us into the other space. Right, how do you create the sort of structure that's going to work for us? I think from 18 to league and AFL footy, that works. What we will create are pathways to this academy. We're going to set up a metropolitan academy so that we stay connected to every junior club in our existing zone and beyond if we want, but certainly in the existing zone. So every local club will be in direct contact with them. We'll be providing kids the opportunity to come and experience Port Adelaide, train with us with the view to advancing them into our academy from 2015 on. We'll be doing exactly the same in the country areas. We'll use 2014 to transition the Magpies out of the zone and Port Adelaide in. So the Eyre Peninsula, the West Coast and beyond will have a very strong Port Adelaide presence with the view of providing scholarships and opportunities for those kids to come back down, train with us in academies with the view to getting them into the Magpies Academy to begin their pathway. We'll be doing other things. We're going to create a father-son academy. So the Timmy Ginevers and the Paul North East and their boys look at the Maggies and dream about it, and they can play for us. They can train with the Magpies, and they can get access into the academy side. That will be up from next year. We're going to do an international academy. We're already doing it with the Chinese community and the African community. Again, it's about participation and community links. All of that infrastructure is all about remaining connected to the community that supports Port Adelaide and giving kids the opportunity to feed in to our pathway, which will be the best football development program in this state and perhaps in Australia, I guarantee you. The other thing that we're planning for 2015 and beyond, not set yet because we've got 2014 with all of our kids in the system. I spoke to the under-18s last week and reassured them that if they want to get to the SANFL League or if they want to get to the AFL, there's no better place to do it than Port Adelaide. But if we believe that we need to recreate our junior structures, we'll do it in the amateur league. We'll do it. And I've spoken to the amateurs. They're ready to go. They'll take us on. So we'll spend 2014 reconstructing our junior programs to whatever shape we want it to be, coached by Port Adelaide. If it's in the amateurs, I don't reckon it matters. They're there. So the pathway will exist. So, what does it deliver? And I'm going to post that structure on the website so you can have a closer look at it later and this speech and all that sort of stuff. But what does it give us? Every Port Adelaide player in 2014 will be playing for Port Adelaide. we will have a cutting-edge, elite, modern football program which will be the envy of every football club in Australia next year. We will continue to establish and maintain the magnificent community links which have defined us as a club for 100 years throughout our history will be maintained. We'll do it differently, but we're going to do it. Just because they remove a zone or remove a junior structure doesn't mean we have to give up what we value. That'll be in. Kids growing up, dreaming of playing for Port Adelaide Magpies, will get that opportunity. They can come from anywhere. That's a very important point. If you grow up barracking for Port Adelaide, whether it's in Queen Street or Queensland, they can play for us. It's a very big point. All the coaching barriers that we've experienced since 1997 are gone. Every Port Adelaide player over the age of 18, because there's an AFL restriction, over the age of 18, as soon as they get into that academy side, will get access to every coach, every piece of equipment on this side of the ground. For the first time ever, they'll get the full facilities. In short, we will be resourced to win AFL and SANFL premierships. If there's any question about whether we're serious about winning, please ask me the question when you get your chance, because I guarantee you, whoever coaches at Port Adelaide will be given that one objective. You've got to win. Now we've got the resources to enable that to happen at both the AFL and the senior AFL, NFL, SANFL level. What we've created here, guys, is an opportunity for both the Power and the Magpies to thrive. We're going to lose a bit. I understand change is concerning. It's frightening. It's been pissing me off for months. But remember where we've come from. The Magpies were gone. The offer on the table was a Power reserve side with random top-ups just like the Crows. I can tell you that the Crows will react to this. I can tell you that Collingwood already has. And I can tell you that the Magpies will come out of this stronger. I guarantee it.